President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday said that Russia had become the first country in the world to grant regulatory approval to a COVID-19 vaccine, Sputnik V, after less than 2 months of human testing. The vaccine still has to complete final trials. Concerns among some experts at the speed of its approval, but the Russian business conglomerate Sistema has said it expects to put it into mass production by the end of the year. The speed at which Russia is moving to roll out the COVID-19 vaccine has prompted international scientists to question whether Moscow is putting national prestige before solid science and safety. Russia has not yet published any scientific data from its first clinical trials. The WHO's list of vaccine candidates in human testing still lists the Gamaleya product as in Phase 1 trials. A Phase 3, or what we call final stage study, usually involves tens of thousands of people, which is the only way to prove if an experimental vaccine is safe and really works. However, the vaccine's approval by the Russian Health Ministry comes before the start of a larger Trial 3 involving thousands of participants. Such trials, which require a certain rate of participants catching the virus to observe the vaccine's effect, are normally considered essential precursors for a vaccine to receive regulatory approval. The Moscow-based Association of Clinical Trials Organizations, ACTO, a trade body representing the world's top drug makers in Russia this week, had urged the health ministry to postpone approval until that final trial had been successfully completed. The World Health Organization has said that any WHO stamp of approval on a COVID-19 vaccine candidate would require a rigorous safety data review after Russia announced it had approved a vaccine. We're in close contact with the Russian health authorities and discussions are ongoing with respect to possible WHO pre-qualification of the vaccine, the United Nations Health Agency's spokesman Tarik Jasarevic said. Pre-qualification of any vaccine includes the rigorous review and assessment of all the required safety and efficacy data, he said. The WHO had last week warned that Russia should not stray from the usual methods of testing a vaccine for safety and effectiveness. The governments of the United States, Canada and Britain have all accused Russian state hackers of attempting to steal vaccine research, casting a shadow over Russia's claim. Russian officials have denied the accusation and said their leading vaccine is based on a design developed by Russian scientists to counter Ebola years ago. It's not the first controversial vaccine Russia developed. Putin mentioned earlier this year that Russian scientists delivered an Ebola vaccine that proved to be the most effective in the world and made a real contribution to fighting the Ebola fever in Africa. In 2019, the WHO considered the 2015 vaccine along with several others for use in Congo, but didn't pick it. It pointed out that it had been approved for emergency use after Phase 1 and 2 trials, but not Phase 3. Russia's health ministry authorized 2 Ebola vaccines for domestic use, one in 2015 and another one in 2018, but there is little evidence either was widely used in Africa. Kirill Dmitriev, head of Russia's Sovereign Wealth Fund, hailed the development as a historic Sputnik moment, comparable to the Soviet Union's 1957 launch of Sputnik 1, the world's first satellite. The vaccine will be marketed under the name Sputnik V on foreign markets, he said. He said clinical trials were expected to start soon in the United Arab Emirates and the Philippines. Dmitriev said Russia had already received foreign requests for 1 billion doses. International agreements had been secured to produce 500 million doses annually, with the vaccine also expected to be produced in Brazil. Speaking at a government meeting on state television, Putin dismissed the concerns, saying the vaccine, developed by Moscow's Gamaleya Institute, was safe in that it had even been administered to one of his daughters. I know that it works quite effectively, forms strong immunity, and I repeat, it has passed all the needed checks, said Putin. Human studies started the 17th of June among 76 volunteers. Half were injected with a vaccine in liquid form and the other half with a vaccine that came as soluble powder. Some in the first half were recruited from the military, which raised concerns that servicemen may have been pressured to participate. The Russian vaccine Sputnik V was developed by the Gamaleya Institute in Moscow. It uses two strains of adenovirus that typically cause mild colds in humans. The vaccine has two separately injected components. The two-stage injection plan helps form a lasting immunity. The experience with vector vaccines and two-stage scheme shows that immunity lasts for up to 2 years, the Russian Health Ministry has said. Adenovirus vaccines are in trials in various countries. They are genetically modified to cause infected cells to make proteins from the spike of the new coronavirus. The approach is similar to a vaccine developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca. Russian health workers treating COVID-19 patients will be offered the chance of volunteering to be vaccinated in the coming weeks, a source told Reuters last month.